All right, fantastic. Again, let me just go ahead and start by welcoming everybody. Again, we very much deeply appreciate you taking the special family time, work time, etc., to come and be here with us, to share and to join, to partner with us on all the great stuff that the City of Livingston is doing. By way of introduction, in case there's a few out there that don't know me, I'm Jose Rivera, I'm the City Manager, and I welcome you. Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of great stuff to cover. So with that, I would like to present the colors, and we want to give a round of applause to our explorers for always donating their time, and Zeus, the advisor. Thank you very much. So, presentation of colors. Please stand. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. So we want to begin this evening by, I think it's always good to get a little bit of a historical perspective, especially of Livingston. You guys are probably, as you were getting something to eat, kind of looking at some of our, historical photos that we have on the wall. And we're very fortunate here in Livingston that we have some very passionate people that early on decided that it was very important to preserve the history and the culture of Livingston. And so we have a little museum, if you guys didn't know, across the street that we would welcome you guys to see when you have some time. But one of the great things here is that we have a lot of, great diversity, culture, people, and we want to create that sense of community. And so I would like to call up one of those, champions in our community that have preserved so much and that has so much to give, and who actually was an elected official and a mayor, several years back. So let's give a big round of applause to Barbara Ratcliffe. So she's going to come up, and she's the president of the Livingston Historical Foundation, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about our history here. Perhaps.
Thank you so much. It's nice to see a lot of people, and I'm sorry I don't know a lot of you people, but my name is Barbara Ratcliffe, and I've been here for a long time. And I was asked to talk about the history of Livingston, and I'm happy to do that. But I'm also going to tell you about my history of Livingston and how I stayed around. My family and I moved here in July of 1946, and my dad was the branch manager of Bank of America, and my mom was a housewife, worked for the Livingston elementary school later. My brother and I were at grade school on B Street, and so that's a long time ago. And the Bank of America, the branch, is now Winton Insurance. So that was Bank of America way back then when we first came. And then right next door to it was Glasso's cleaning, Glasso's jewelry stores, and a lot of jewelry, a lot of things like that they did for a long time. So it was always nice to have that alongside. And then right next to that was McFadden's hardware store. Marge McFadden, the building that had this huge, and I remember as a kid, huge store where you could buy whatever you want to build whatever you want. And I remember one thing, just as a kid, is this bucket of nails. That's what I thought, how can you have a big bucket of nails? But there it was. Anyway, so then on down, there was a barber shop coming this way. And I don't remember who, Patzer or something like that, because there's a street named after that person. And then on the corner here is Serval Market. Frank Knight and Louis Jacket were the owners. And the famous butcher that I remember, I don't know if he was Ernie Below, and he was always so nice to give everybody something, and he was a great butcher. And then Richard Juarez, Louis Bowling, and Frank Guerrero worked at Serval. And then right across the street, over here, was Hotel Idaho, where a few of the folks lived there because it was like in a little apartment. And Eddie B. Hochleitner and Mrs. Brown owned it. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful hotel where now the city hall and the fire department and the police department are. And so moving around, I remember the council chambers were above the old police department, if you can imagine going up high. But down the street, which was then 3rd Street, there was an apartment housing, and I think a rose garden or something like that. And at the end of that street was Watson Cleaners. And I remember being there forever, and that's where the taco truck is now. So, and then there was a family that lived in an apartment, by Cleaners. And their name was, not Watson, Walters. She was a teacher at the elementary school. Okay, going back to the Bank of America down here at the railroad tracks was J&B Fountain, which was like a restaurant, luncheon, whatever, run by the Joseph family or Greek family. And so then next to that was the dentist office. Dr. Logan, who was the only dentist here in Livingston. And so on down the street was a house that I remember. And the last name was Terry, and the 2 boys went to school. And then down on further was Mull's Furniture Store, which was a classic for everything. He had furniture, appliance, and I still have furniture from him. And so he was there at the very, very corner. My dad, Lyle Fowler, Ralph Moe, and then the chief of police used to play poker on Monday nights. Sometimes in my house, and sometimes elsewhere. But we called them the gambling folks. And I remember those chips on the table where they would bet, money. Next to Moe's was Burnett Trucking, which I can barely remember. Now the courthouse that was across the street here to come back up was, something that you go see the movies and there's pictures and stuff. But I was an usher when I was a young person. I got a flashlight and everything. And I got paid $1.50 a night, Mr. Porter paid. So, right at the Livingston Library was right next to the courthouse. The library, of course, is now the museum. And across the street was Larry's Super Service, which was a gasoline station, Camp's grocery store, Dorothy's Dress Shop, Virgo's Drugstore. Virgo's Drugstore was right on the corner. And around the corner, there was an office where Dr. Willihan had an office, Dr. Willihan and Dr. Bickle. But at the Virgo's Drugstore, we'd go in and sit, and we'd have cherry Coke, lemon Coke, whatever, and read funny books. But Mr. Virgo would say we couldn't do that because we had to pay for it. So anyway, everybody, let's see, Dr. Bickle was one of the doctors also. So everybody bought their overalls from Levi's camp store, which was here. And all those stores were torn down, it's Rite Aid is now. So that's a little about that. Across the street, across the tracks, was Ecofield's grocery store, huge grocery store, where you could buy anything and everything. And it was a butcher shop. You could buy food, whatever, dishes, and whatever. Next door was a Mailer's drugstore, where my girlfriend and I used to buy our boots and buy clothes, school clothes. And so then down the way was the Melody Bar. And we had a few bars in that town, I remember. But that one I'll remember because when they tore all that down, they tore the Melody down, which was bricks. And so they sold the bricks for 3 cents a brick. So when I was married and lived down on Main Street, I was at the kitchen window, and here came this huge truck with a whole pile of bricks. So that's how I got my first butter. I wasn't real happy, but anyway. And there's so many memories that I remember, and I know you don't. But we do have a lot of things at the museum, and I would welcome you to come. We're open, first and third Sundays, but you can make an appointment, and we'll open it for you, and you can come down. So, but thank you for letting me share. I hope that helps something with the history of my time. And then one thing that I would like to mention to Jackie in the Recreation Department did this booklet when we did the 100 year. So I don't know if you have any more of those or if anybody would like them. Pardon me? Oh, okay. And then you'll have to explain to people how to do that because I don't know how to do that. But anyway, this was a wonderful thing that we had when we had the 100 years. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and hope you learned something.
All right, well, let's give a big round of applause for Mrs. Barbara Blatch for taking the time to do all that. And Chief, can you check on that for me, please? He's a little tall, and he has he's in black and white. Thank you. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and I would like to introduce our mayor. Our mayor has put a lot of time and effort into this. I know that he actually started the State of the City last year. I wasn't here, but I do know that he put a lot of time. He requested a lot of information from all our different department heads, and I also want to take the time to thank all the different department heads for taking the time to compile all this different information. And a lot of this is fluid too. So there's a lot of things that have been done, some things that are continuing, and then there's some things here where we want to partner with you. And so this is a very important opportunity for all of us so that we can take Livingston, and keep moving forward into that next level. After the mayor finishes his state of the city address, we also have Councilmember Upal that's going to share also some perspective. But first, we're going to start with the mayor. So, the mayor, Moran, if you can please give him a big warm welcome to the state of the city, much appreciated. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. ¿Cómo están? How's everybody doing today? Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you all for being here, and thank you to the people that are watching at home, either tonight live or to the people that are going to be watching this later during the week or in the weekend, because, we understand not everybody's able to be here, and at the same time, we wanted to make sure that this is recorded for those that are not able to be here tonight. And yes, this is our second annual State of the City, and one of the main reasons of why we came up with this was to be able to provide an opportunity and really an update for people that are not able to watch or be here at every single meeting, because we do have 2 meetings a month, times 12 months more or less. That's around between 22 to 24 meetings that we go through at least, not counting the special meetings and so on. So by doing this, it's really providing a brief overview of most of the things that have been done at the city within the last year or so. So with that, let me start. It's only 48 pages long. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Good evening, Livingston. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces here tonight. Friends, neighbors, business owners, community leaders, and the hardworking employees who keep our city running every single day. It's an honor to stand before you as a mayor and to share the 2025 State of the City Address, a reflection of what we have accomplished together and where we are heading as one community. That's what makes Livingston special. This sense that every voice matters and that every small effort contributes to something bigger. Let's begin with one of the most essential foundations of any city, our infrastructure. Our Public Works Department has had an outstanding year. Their work may not always make the headlines, but it touches every single one of us. Every time that we turn on a faucet, drive down the street on a smooth road, or enjoy a day in the park. This year, Public Works replaced a 35-year-old playground at Arquillian Park. I'm sure many of you have been there, and if you haven't been there in the last few months, I would highly recommend for you to stop by and look at this new playground. A project that has been on our community's wish list for a long time. Families now enjoy a safer, modern play area with a shade canopy to protect children from the summer heat. We also saw progress on our new potable well 8A, a significant investment in Livingston's water future. When completed next year, it will strengthen our water system's reliability for many more years to come. And speaking of reliability, the East Avenue's Storm Pump Station received its first major renovation in over 30 years. That's the kind of project that may go unnoticed until the next big storm hits. But thanks to the upgrades, our city is better protected against flooding. And just let me tell you, this is a work in progress, because there's a lot of need in some other areas of our community. Public Works also repairs significant stretches of 4th Street between Park and F Street, and another project on Main Street near the new council apartments, improving safety and accessibility for everyone. These are just some tangible examples of your tax dollars at work, improving daily life in our city. And the work does not stop there. A new restroom at Killian Park. The existing outdated restroom facilities at Killian Park is scheduled for demolition and replacement with a new structure. Construction is anticipated to commence in December 2025. We are also undertaking renovations to our sewer lift stations. Two sewer lift stations are currently in the design phase for planned renovations. The scope of work includes the replacement of aging discharge piping, isolation valves, and guide rails, as well as the installation of new pumps. This renovation project aims to ensure uninterrupted service while enhancing the overall reliability of the sewer system. Infrastructure investments that demonstrate Livingston's commitment to planning not just for today, but for the next generations. Hopefully, and this is not on my speech, but hopefully we don't have to wait 30 years or 35 years to do the next updates. And that's going to be up to the next council, or the future councils. Our Human Resources Department has also had a very transformative year. They implemented a new application tracking system, an advanced digital tool that streamlines the hiring and onboarding process. This allows us to attract talented individuals more efficiently and provide a better candidate experience. We no longer have the come and fill out your application and pick up a copy at the front counter. We can do all of that online now. But HR's work goes beyond hiring. They develop an ADA compliance plan, ensuring our city remains accessible to all residents, and implemented a Title VI plan to ensure Livingston remains eligible for federal funding on future roadway projects. The CDA is a recipient of federal funds from the federal government Highway Administration through the California Department of Transportation. We are required to develop an implementation plan that allows the city to remain eligible for federal aid funding on future roadway projects. This was a combined effort with the Public Works Director. They also launched a heat illness prevention plan, ensuring that our public works and field staff are safe during the valley hottest months. And as you know, the last few years, the summer in our area has been very drastic, and we got to make sure that we keep everybody safe. Every one of these efforts may seem procedural. Still, together they ensure that Livingston continues to operate as a professional, safe, and inclusive organization, one that values both its employees and its residents. Public safety remains one of the city's top priorities, and I'm proud of the progress made by the Livingston Police Department. This year they implemented the IRM's system, allowing officers to access vital records and dispatch information securely on their mobile devices, improving response time and coordination. For residents, the launch of the Citizens RIMS website means you now have access to crime data and can sign up for community alerts. This transparency builds trust and keeps our neighborhoods informed. We also expanded our flock camera system, which is a vital tool in investigating and preventing crime. We have upgraded our tasers, body cameras, and firearms, ensuring that our officers have the latest equipment for safety and accountability. And let's not forget, the department also invested in new patrol vehicles, a continual beautification project at the shooting range, ensuring that our training facilities meet modern standards. This year, The City Council approved the purchase of new handguns and rifles for our police department. This upgrade not only enhances officer safety and accuracy with new handguns equipped with red dot sights, but it also brings our department in line with some of the best equipped law enforcement agencies in the region. In addition, this investment will result in cost savings in ammunition and training, ensuring we continue to improve readiness while being responsible for taxpayer dollars. All of these reflects a department that is evolving, embracing technology, improving transparency, and maintaining the highest level of service to our community. When we talk about what makes Livingston truly special, we cannot forget the heart of our city, our families, our youth, and our shared traditions. Our recreation department has been doing remarkable work, creating programs that bring us together. This year, they launched a new online registration software that makes it easier than ever for residents to register for sports, classes, and events, all from the comfort of their homes. The Recreation Department has expanded opportunities for our youth with programs like beginning drums, beginning guitar, and NFL flag football, alongside with our beloved Livingston Waves swim team, which saw over 50 participants compete in Merced County Recreation Summer League. Through these programs and community events, the recreation team has served over 2,000 children and families through youth programs including baseball, softball, soccer, flag football, basketball, and swim. And let's not forget the arts and cultural classes like folklorico, bantra, ballet, and hip-hop, and they continue to be very popular. The recreation team has been hosting community events that have drawn more than 20,000 attendees, including the 4th of July Festival, Sweet Potato Festival, Music in the Park, the Court of Trees, and the Lighted Christmas Parade and Gift Fair. Our fundraising for the future Recplex continues through Food Truck Fridays, which just ended in the month of October, and the Poinsera sales, which I just heard, they are at over 600 orders. How they're going to be delivered, good luck. These are just events that are moments where a community comes together, where children laugh, families connect, and neighbors share pride in their city. These successes would not be possible without the collaboration, the partnership with schools, nonprofits, and local businesses. A special thank you to the Rio Nut Company and David Arquillian for their continued support, which has provided crucial support for facility improvements and youth programs. Their facility rentals during fall and winter helped us complete asbestos abatement and begin refurbishment of the 6th Street side of the building. The department continues to manage park and facility rentals, including coordinating fee waivers for nonprofits. The Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission is currently reviewing the fee policy and may recommend updates to the City Council, including revamping fee waivers to better support local organizations. We continue to collaborate with schools and nonprofits to expand opportunities for young people and their families. Support includes travel, soccer, baseball, and soft teams, plus participation in major community celebrations like Dia de los Muertos, Trunk or Treat, Breakfast with Santa, LHS All Alumni Reunion, Sikh Temple Ladies Event, and Career Day at LMS, which is the middle school. We promote these events through social media, the downtown digital board, word of mouth, and our community calendar, while also facilitating school visits and the Senior Living Well Cafe. I also want to take a moment to share an exciting new project that truly reflects the spirit of community collaboration here in Livingston. The city has officially begun Phase 1 of a new walking path at the Foster Max complex, which will connect Dwight and Wall Avenue. This project did not start in our office or at a council meeting. It started with you, the residents. It was your ideas and suggestions that inspired this improvement. Once completed, this path will provide a safe and accessible space for families, students, and seniors to enjoy outdoor recreation and connect with different parts of our city. It is a perfect example of how community voices help shape the projects that make Livingston better for everyone. Another exciting effort taking shape in our community is being led by 7 Jan, an organization founded by Patricia Zamora, who has been working closely with other community groups to reimagine the heart of our city through the creation of a downtown corridor plan. Recently, 7 Gen hosted a community workshop where residents, business owners, students, and local leaders came together to share their ideas and hopes for the future of our downtown. Participants described a corridor that feels safe, colorful, calm, and family-centered. A place full of life where people can connect, take pride in their city, and simply just slow down. They envision spaces that truly reflect Livingston's heart and humanity. A downtown where there is art, color, music, and joy. A place that feels like home, where families can walk, breathe, and feel proud of their own town yet. Part of this vision came to life in a beautiful way during the first Dia de los Muertos celebration in downtown Livingston, also organized by 7 Gen, which brought culture together in community in a heartfelt display of who we are and what we can become. Thus the Livingston way, public and private sectors working together to make our community stronger. Finally, our community development department continues to guide Livingston's growth thoughtfully and responsibly. Significant updates to the 2040 General Plan and housing element are underway, ensuring that our city grows while meeting housing needs and preserving the small town character that defines us. This year, the city began important conversations with Merced County to explore a long-term, fair, and balanced master tax sharing agreement. This effort will help strengthen cooperation between our city and county as we plan for Livingston's continued growth and future development. We also started discussions with the city of Atwater and Merced County about the possibility of creating a regional surface water treatment facility. This project could improve water quality, expand capacity, and ensure a more reliable supply for all of our communities in the years to come. This city also made updates to our municipal code to modernize development standards, streamline the review process, and make it easier for residents and businesses to understand what's permitted. These improvements will help make Livingston more efficient, transparent, and business-friendly. 2 major affordable housing projects, Tierra Santa Villas and River Glen Apartments, are providing 160-plus new apartment homes for working families. When it comes to ADUs, the number of units have increased over the last 12 months. Commercial development is thriving also. Within the last year, the new Arco AMPM has been completed. The Basi business strip is nearly finished, and construction has begun on the Quickway Travel Center, which will bring new dining options like Arby's, Jimmy John's, Starbucks, and a Mexican fast food restaurant, along with the truck center, which includes a fueling station, a truck wash, and a tire store. In addition to all this, we have the installation of 12 EV charging stations underway at TA, truck stop, and gas stations. Each of these developments means more jobs, more services, and more opportunities for Livingston residents. Every success that I have shared tonight, every project completed, every implement made, has one thing in common: teamwork. Between city departments, a growing spirit of collaboration and mutual support is emerging. Finance, public works, HR, police, recreation, and community development, all working together with one goal: to serve the people of Livingston. But teamwork does not stop at City Hall. It extends to our schools, our churches, our small businesses, and most importantly, our residents. Many of our city's best ideas come directly from you. When residents speak, we listen. When the community identifies a need, our staff works to meet it. And when we achieve something together, it's shared success, because this is your city. As we move forward, our priorities remain clear. We will continue to improve infrastructure and public safety, support economic development that fosters local job creation, protects our environment and water resources, and most importantly, continue investing in our people, our families, our youth, our seniors, and our hardworking local workforce. As we look ahead, I want to take a moment to encourage all of you, our residents, to keep sharing your ideas, your recommendations, and your vision for Livingston's future. Your voice continues to guide so much of what we do as a city, and your ideas truly shape the direction we take together. With the continued support of the City Council and our dedicated city staff, I remain committed to advancing several key community priorities, including completing the full plan for the new Redplex, developing a community garden, and working towards establishing Livingston's own fire department, along with the second fire station to strengthen our public safety. We also want to see more green spaces, additional soccer fields, and possibly a new skate park for our youth, and of course, something many of us have asked for: a dog park. A simple but meaningful space where families, neighbors, and pets can enjoy time together. Each of these projects reflect our collective hopes for a city that is active, connected, and full of opportunities for everyone. Because Livingston's greatest strength, as always, has been its people. Our diversity, our resilience, and our shared belief that this is a place worth investing in. We have come a long way, but I truly believe the best is yet to come for the city of Livingston. So, tonight, as we celebrate our progress, let's remember, Livingston's success is not defined by one department or official. It's characterized by all of us, by the city employees who give 100% every day, by the families who volunteer at our festivals, and by the residents who keep showing up, caring and believing in this city. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you to our council, our staff, our community partners, and most of all, to the people of Livingston. Together, we have built more projects, we have built pride, we have built trust, and we have built a vision for the future. The state of our city is strong, our future is bright, and the best days of Livingston are still ahead. Thank you, and may God bless the city of Livingston. Muchas gracias.
All right, let's give I know he put a lot of time in, there were 42 pages, but let's give him a big round of applause. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for, this State of the City address, and for really emphasizing, the togetherness and everybody working together, because individually we will never be able to do what we can do collectively. And so thank you for mentioning that, and that's something that I know my staff really appreciates. So with that, we still have another little presentation, and I would like to have Councilmember Upal come up, and if we can give him a big round of applause as well, that would be great. Mr. Upal.
Good evening, everyone. Really appreciate everybody being here, especially our folks that came from other cities. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't exactly sure who would end up here, but it's really nice to see those of you that made the drive to come out. So it means a lot that you're in our little town today. I'm not gonna give a fancy speech like the mayor. I think when you do a state of the city, a state of the county, state of the union, etc., that is reserved for the chair, the head. And so I'm not going to give any more context to that. I thought it might be an interesting idea, and we've talked about this a little bit, if our council decided to give kind of like an annual report at the state of the city. One thing that I think about a lot is that there's not really a formal performance evaluation for us. I mean, I know there's a lot of elected officials in the room. Our elections kind of dictate whether or not people are happy with us, but as you know, you don't necessarily need to do a great job to get elected all the time. And in my personal experience, obviously I was not elected before I got elected, and so you don't even need to have that kind of background, right? We do have a lot of things to do, but I think it's important that we come and we justify our work to our residents, and we kind of just leave it out there for them to decide if they're happy with our progress. And so the purpose of this is to kind of provide a tiny little report of what I've been working on over the past year, what the experience has been. I did draft something, which I'm not going to expect anybody to read, but I will post this publicly pretty soon so that residents have a copy of it. And to our folks that are here from other jurisdictions, I would encourage you to explore something like this. I think it might be a cool concept moving forward. Before anything else, I want to give a couple quick thank yous. First and foremost to my family, who have stood by me throughout this entire process, which has been very much up and down, depending on what's been going on. And specifically, we'd really like to give a huge shout out to my older brother, Parwinder, who's here tonight. For those of you that may not have had a chance to meet him, he's essentially just a bigger, faster, stronger, more reasonable version of myself, and does a lot for us to hold things down, to give me the time to do this. So it really means a lot to have him here. I want to give a quick shout out to one of my uncles, Bulgasin Garear, formerly known as Kituama, but he's the first person I called when I decided I wanted to do this, and he's been with me every step of the way since. And then another huge thank you, and I cannot overstate this one. When a lot of people ask me what's going on with the city or what I'm doing, they're always shocked to know like how little my involvement is. They're like, wait, why aren't you like at City Hall right now? Like, what do you mean you have a job? Like, aren't you going to go to City Hall? And I think a lot of folks forget that we don't do most of the work. Well over 90% of the work that's done in a city, in a county, from our jurisdictions is done by our full-time staff, our folks that are at City Hall on a day-to-day, actually signing contracts, patrolling the streets, setting up rec programs, online creating positions, making sure that we have our ducks in a row. And so I cannot thank our city staff enough for what they do. They've been a huge help. Throughout this last year, I asked a million questions. They provide a million answers consistently. And we have a lot of our department heads here tonight, led by our city manager, who consistently step up to the plate and get stuff done when we need it. And so I would like to give them a huge round of applause because they do a lot for our city. Thank you guys for that. The last year it's been interesting. It's been a really strange introduction to the world of policy and politics. I like to say that for much of the beginning, I kind of felt like a baby in a floaty in the middle of the ocean, you know, like really trying to figure out what's going on. You come in and people are asking you like, hey, can we get a Chick-fil-A? Can we get a Chipotle? And there's some other wild requests that I'm not going to say. And that's kind of the perception of what you come in here to do. And then you get here and it's like, hey buddy, we don't have an updated general plan. We don't have a tax sharing agreement. We don't have a strategic plan. We don't have water. There's lawsuits you need to settle, and all of a sudden you're like in this whole other world that you're unsure how you're going to tackle. But I do think there's been a lot of progress made on a lot of those big things that I mentioned. The mayor covered it. I'm not going to get into the weeds, but there is significant progress being made in planning. And one thing that I would like to go into as it relates to myself specifically, because I realize I've already been talking for longer than I wanted to be up here, is I think it's very important that when we do this work, when you consider the sensitivity of protecting taxpayer funds, of doing the best for your residents, we know there's other interests that are at play. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the world that is policy and politics. That you're willing to have those conversations open and honestly, and you tackle them at their core. When I came into council, we had a $160,000 deficit in our general fund, and we were actively bleeding thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars every month from one of our sanitation funds, because the council prior to me had set a course of action where we reallocated the way that we were storing certain fees, and we changed the way that we were processing billing to the city, and there was this notion that what we were doing was in the best interest of the residents. But when you go back and you watch those meetings and you read what's in the fine print, there were a lot of lies stated clearly on the dais. There was a lot of kind of foul play on the way things were being set up. There was unresponsiveness and a failure to move on our council's end. And within one of our first meetings, I requested the item come back. I laid all of that out clearly, and we had that conversation at the dais. And it was extremely uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for me. It was uncomfortable for the rest of the council. I'm sure it was uncomfortable for the people in the room. That was a tough night. But it was because all those things were brought to the forefront. We had an honest conversation that we were able to balance our deficit in our general fund. We were able to reallocate those fees to stop the bleeding that we were having, because we were set to completely drain that fund within a year. And we kind of set a new standard for accountability and protecting our residents' interests that night. I feel like it was very unexpected. It was not anything that was expected of me to do. I was kind of expected by a lot of people to just come in here, shut up, sit down, and follow the lead. But that's not what we're here to do. And even when it means having uncomfortable conversations, sometimes putting people on the spot, sometimes putting yourself on the spot because you're the one that's in the wrong, that is the nature of what we do, and I think we have to get to that point. I do want to give a quick shout out to Fu Zhang, who's here, city council member in the city of Merced. We don't always agree on issues based on me listening to your meetings, but I know that you have to take stands sometimes and be the odd one out on your council, and I have a lot of respect for that. And so I really admire those in the room that do that in a professional capacity. Aside from that, we've been able to move on a lot of our planning, strategic planning, general planning. I'm happy to have been a champion for some of those things. And I do also want to identify some areas of growth before I leave tonight. Community messaging has not been good enough. It's something that I have put some effort towards, being more active online, sometimes putting videos on Facebook, providing information about certain topics, or providing a little bit of context on what's going on. But generally speaking, when I go out into the community and I talk to residents, they just don't know what's going on. And so no matter how many big picture issues we have to deal with, how many hours we're on the clock, what's going on at the house, etc., gotta find more time for community messaging, and that will be a big priority for me coming up in the next year. Institutional knowledge is a big one. I was 22 when I got sworn in. I mean, although I did have an education in policy, it is nothing to prep for the work that you do here. Nobody teaches you about general planning. Nobody teaches you about what it means to maintain roads and water. I mean, all the niche expertise that our staff have, and so that's been a big downfall for me, not having that context coming in, but I enjoy learning. I've always valued the learning process, and I'll continue to do that. And one more thing is relationships. I think sometimes being so hard set on the best interests of the city, you kind of forget that you're working with people, you're working with human beings, and there's instances where I feel like I could have handled situations better, had conversations in a better manner, and been more mindful of other factors rather than just what makes the most sense for our residents. And so that is something that I'm not necessarily happy to say out loud, but I do feel like it's an area of growth for me, and something that'll build with time, and it will be a priority for the next year. So that's enough on my side. Maybe this is a model that we come back to, maybe we don't. But I will be releasing a more flushed out report for anybody in the community that may want to read what's been going on for the last year, and I encourage any of you to reach out with any questions, comments, concerns. always happy to be a liaison for the community. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and it means a lot for us. So thank you.
All right. Well, you guys are more than welcome to stay. We have plenty of hors d'oeuvres. Please continue to mingle. I'm sure you might have some questions for the department heads or the mayor or any of other elected officials here. We just want you guys to leave here today to know that we are open. We have open door policy. You guys are always welcome. If there's any questions, there is no idea that we don't want to hear. I think that it's always very important that you grow on these different ideas and they can springboard to some other things. And as you can see, the mayor touched on this with regards to Patricia Zamora. Then she brought in, a bunch of other folks who then became partners. And that's how we can get people out from their couches, out and about, exercise their mind, and interact with different people. One of the other things that that we're also talking about is the California Health Collaborative. They're coming out. They're looking at how we can address this big tobacco issue. YLI is looking at in America. Is looking at this very well. Very important here is do we have too many liquor stores here in town? So we're covering the full gamut. There's nothing that we won't look at that we just need to prioritize which ones are a little more important than others. Because of course we can't do everything ourselves. But that's why when the mayor and Japji and the rest of our council talk about tackling some of these issues, we look out to our local community, our regional, and even further out because we can't do it all ourselves. However, we do want to tackle some of these big issues and move forward. So with that, again, I know that our mayor and our council are very thankful for what you guys do in your respective positions and in the community, and we look forward to continuing to work with you. And have a very good evening. And please take the food. Appreciate it. Big round of applause.